Hey guys, what's going on? Mega Masher is back, and this next video is going to feature the 6th generation fire type starter known as Delphox. And I just gotta say that Delphox is extremely underrated and has some tricks up its sleeve. No pun intended, because it does get switcheroo, which is another version of trick. So without further ado, let's analyze this magician. So here he is, guys, Delphox. Its typing is Fire and Psychic, which is a very unique typing that only Victini and Darmanitan Zen mode share. So I think that's pretty cool. However, you are weak to the likes of Ground, Rock, Ghost, Water, and Dark, and you also suffer a 2 times weakness to Stealth Rocks, which is a very annoying entry hazard, and you are also openly weak to Pursuit, which is a move that basically traps you unless you want to take incredible damage switching out. So please be aware of that. You are resistant to the likes of Fighting, Steel, Fire, Grass, Psychic, Ice, and Fairy, which are pretty key resistances if you ask me. So this definitely will help out this Pokemon quite a bit in battle. As for its first ability is known as Blaze, which is pretty standard amongst fire-type starters. However, its second ability, known as Magician, is actually quite the tricky ability, if you ask me. I'm surprised nobody ever uses this. Magician acts sort of like as a thief if you do not have a hold item. Uh, Basically, what happens is if you attack your opponent, and you don't have an item, you end up stealing theirs if they do have an item, and you can use that item against them and turn the tide in battle, essentially. I think that's pretty awesome and definitely opens up some nice possibilities here. Now, as for its stats, you see here it has 75 HP, 69 attack, 72 defense, 114 special attack, 100 special defense, and 104 speed. So taking a look at this guy has really interesting stats, and it has the highest special attack of any fire type starter, so that's pretty impressive. But this guy is clearly specially oriented, and overall has some pretty decent bulk with 72 defense and 100 special defense, and we're going to be trying to make use of that. So with that being said, let's move on to the first set. This first set here takes full advantage of Delphox's ability to be fast, powerful, and annoying. The nature that we're going to be using is Timid, which maximizes your speed and lowers your attack. The ability, I put either, because if you want to go with Blaze, which if you're at a third of your health or below, your fire type moves get a 50% boost, which could turn the tide in battle. So if you're looking for power, go with Blaze. But if you're looking for some mind games, go with Magician. And the reason why you want to go with Magician is, say if you trick your opponent, your choiced item, and they happen to have a consumable item, and you consume it, or if you happen to lose your item in the process before tricking it, that leaves open Magician to work its magic. And what that does is if you attack your opponent, then you steal their item, and especially if they're really dependent on that item, that could really mess things up. Speaking of which, the item for choice, you can either go with Choice Scarf or Choice Specs. Choice Scarf to lock you into a move and increase your speed by 50%. Choice Specs to lock you into a move and increase your special attack by 50%. So either or, uh, any of these items is really good. As for the EV spread, we're going to maximize its special attack and speed at 252 special attack and 252 speed, and the remaining 4 EVs are going to go into its HP. As for the move set, this entire set is built around Switcheroo, which is another variation of Trick. It allows you to swap items with your opponent, and especially since how you have a choiced item, then you will cripple your opponent if they are a non-attacking Pokemon or if they're supporter Pokemon, and that can really, really mess with the opponent's head. The next move that we have is known as Fire Blast, which is Delphox's most reliable fire-type move. You can go with Overheat for a little extra power and a little extra accuracy, but the recoil is not worth it. Uh, the next move is known as Psyshock, which kind of allows you to be a pseudo-mixed attacker because with Psyshock's ability to target the opponent's physical defense, you have the ability to either go after the opponent's special defense or physical defense. So if they happen to switch in a Chansey or a Blissey or something like that, and they think they can just absorb any of your attacks, whoops, Psyshock, then you're pretty much Psyshocking your opponents into oblivion. Now the last move slot is really up to you. You can go with Shadow Ball for really good coverage and to give you a fighting chance against Ghost types and other Psychic type Pokemon. You can go with Dazzling Gleam to give you, again, really good coverage and give you a fighting chance against Dark, Dragon, and Fighting type Pokemon. And lastly, Energy Ball to give you a fighting chance against 3 of 5 of your weaknesses, that being to ground, rock, and water. So it's really up to you what you want to use. Depending on how well your team is built, you should choose any of these 3 moves accordingly. That's all for this set. It's time to move on to the next one. This next set here turns Delphox into a setup sweeper, which can actually be pretty threatening. So here it is. The nature that we're going to be using is Timid, which lowers your attack and increases your speed. The item for choice, we have 4 choices here. We have Focus Sash, Leftovers, Lumberry, and Salac Berry. And I'll actually explain the functionality of these items depending on the move set that you choose to use down below. The ability for choice, once again, you can go with either Blaze for a little extra power in a pinch, or Magician for some shenanigans. The EV spread, 4 is going to go into HP, 252 into special attack, and 252 into speed. As for the move set, the first 2 I have Substitute and Calm Mind. Now, Calm Mind goes very well with Leftovers because you hide in a Substitute and you're shielded from an attack or a status move. Um, and Leftovers basically kicks in at the end of each turn, giving you some passive recovery. Now, Sub Salac is also a thing. So, say if you're at 25% of your health or below, and you have, a couple Calm Mind boosts and Blaze is activated, and Salac Berry procs, then what happens is you become fast and more terrifyingly powerful to deal with. Now, uh, we do have Will-O-Wisp as an option if you don't want to use Substitute, and that too goes very well with Leftovers because you cut your opponent's attack in half, and therefore your chances of living a hit is just that much better. And of course, with Calm Mind, you're increasing your special bulk too, as well as your special attack, so you'll have a much easier time of living hits on the special side too. Now, Focus Sash, on the other hand, is great if you want this Pokemon to be a lead. If you want to lead with it and set up and do as much damage and cause as much trouble as possible, Focus Sash is good because it allows you to live a hit. Now, the third and fourth moves of choice, we have Psyshock because it's an irreplaceable move on this set. It allows you to target your opponent's physical defense, so that way your opponent doesn't think about switching their special wall in without getting completely annihilated by Psyshock. The last move that we have for choice, you can either go with Mystical Fire or Flamethrower. Now, Mystical Fire is Delphox's signature move, and Mystical Fire also is a move that is base 65 power, which is not that powerful in comparison to Flamethrower, but you lower your opponent's special attack by 1 stage after each use. So you rack up the amount of times that you drop the special attack, and the amount of times that you boost your special attack and special defense, you're going to be really hard to take down, and that's going to make your opponent want to switch. And say if you have entry hazards on the field, that's going to put even more pressure on the situation here. Or you can go with Flamethrower as a very reliable fire-type move with base 90 power and a perfect accuracy. So it's really up to you what you want to do. Do you want to be Substitute Calm Mind? Do you want to be Calm Mind Will-O-Wisp? Do you want to have a little extra utility and go with Mystical Fire? Or do you want to be straight up powerful and go with Psyshock, Flamethrower, Substitute Calm Mind with a Salac Berry? You got quite a few options here, so feel free to let me know which option you think would be the best. It's time to move on to another set. So with this final set here, we're going to be attempting to turn Delphox into quite the bulky Pokemon that has some utility behind it. The nature for choice, you can go with Bold, which increases your defense and lowers your attack, or you can go with Calm, which increases your special defense and lowers your attack. The item for choice is going to be Leftovers because that is the best item to have in this situation. The ability for choice is going to be Blaze, because say if you're in a pinch and uh, you have to knock out your opponent, well, that could turn the tide in battle if you hit them with a really powerful fire type move. The EV spread, I have two spreads depending on what nature you want to use. If you're going to be going with bold, then go with the 252 HP, 252 defense, and 4 into speed. Or if you're going for calm and being fully specially defensive, go with 252 HP, 252 special defense, and 4 into speed. Now, as for the move set, I have here Wish, and Wish is actually a very good move that Delphox gets as an egg move. It allows you to restore your HP after the second turn. So if you use Wish the first time, you can either stall out or you can switch out and Wish pass it onto a partner that really needs the health boost. The next move slot is you can either go with Protect or Substitute. Protect goes very well with Wish. That way it guarantees you to be healed up, plus it stalls out an extra turn for leftovers recovery. Or you can go with Substitute to protect you from any status moves, which can also be pretty useful too. The next move slot, we have either Will-O-Wisp or Calm Mind. Now, if you're going to go with Will-O-Wisp, that also goes very well with Protect because you also stall it for residual damage, and also Will-O-Wisp cuts your opponent's attack in half. So you're going to be extremely difficult to take down, especially if you have a bold nature, and you're going to be relatively hard to take down if you have a calm nature because you also have special bulk to go with it. Now, I do have Calm Mind as an option over Will-O-Wisp because if you want to be sort of like a Wish substitute Calm Mind setup with an attack or something like that, then go with Bold because that way you have a way to boost your special defense. And seeing as how you're not going to be using Will-O-Wisp in this situation, you want to go with as much physical defense as humanly possible. And the last move choice, we have, again, Mystical Fire, which is Delphox's signature move that lowers your opponent's special attack by one stage after each use. And that goes very well with this set because you're attempting to make Delphox that much harder to take down. And it goes well with Will-O-Wisp because while you're cutting down the opponent's attack by half with Will-O-Wisp, you're also cutting down your opponent's special attack by one stage each time with Mystical Fire. So that can play some pretty big shenanigans there. And it also goes well with Calm Mind, but whichever floats your boat. If you want to go with Psyshock to have a relatively powerful Psychic type move that also breaks through physical defense, then you can go with that. Or if you want to go with Flamethrower for a extremely reliable and powerful Fire type move. That's basically all I have to say for this set, so I hope you enjoyed this set, and that's pretty much all I have for Delphox. So there you have it, guys. I certainly hope you enjoyed this video of Delphox and how to use it, as well as analyzing this Pokemon. If you guys like videos like this, then feel free to rate, comment, and subscribe to all my stuff if you want to be the first to know about new and epic videos related to Pokemon. I hope you guys have a good day. This is Mega Masher signing off.